The next detail item I want to talk about is just basic line work. You can see this tree sticking up here. Click on this tree and say hide the category. You can use the line work tool we talked about in earlier lessons first of all. So we can go to modify. You can use this line work tool to override the line style of anything. So I can go in here anytime I want and say wide lines. And what I can do is I can hover over an item and I can pick on it and click. It'll turn it into a wide line. Now right now I have thin lines turned on, TL on the keyboard. Okay, so I don't even really need to turn that into a wide line. It's already wide enough. But as an example, I could go in here and say, hidden line. So I could turn this into a hidden line. For whatever reason, who knows? Okay, or I can turn it into a center line, or I created a footing line, or a medium line, or overhead, beyond. So these are all the line styles that we saw earlier, which is under manage, under additional settings, under line styles. So these are the lines that you can use this line work tool with. Okay, so that's one point. And I'm just going to undo that back. The other thing you can do is you can actually draw lines, just like in AutoCAD. So you can go to annotate and it's called a detail line. And a detail line is a 2D line that's only visible in the view you're in. Okay, and it's only available in sections, elevations, and plans. It's not available in a 3D view. That is a 3D line. That's different. You can do that as well. Detail lines are visible only in the view in which they were drawn. To sketch lines that exist in 3D space, use a 3D line. So anytime I want, I can say detail line off the annotate tab. And then I can go pick line types off of here. I can say, okay, I'm going to draw a center line. And it's going to more or less represent the kind of the truss web. So I'm going to kind of pick a point here, pick a point here. Maybe that's a terrible truss here. Just a sec. Let's start from the middle. Detail line. And we'll say center line. So I'll say, okay, I'm going to start from here. And then I'm going to go down to here. And then over to here. And then maybe up to there. Then I'm going to grab these three lines using my control button and say mirror based on this axis. Click, click out. Okay, those are just detail lines. It's just a line. It's only in 2D and you can grip it and you can change its property and stuff on here. Okay, if you wanted like a phantom type line, I don't really see one. It's like a double dash line. So you'd have to go into your manage, into here, into line styles, and let's make a new one called truss web. We'll say truss web, and there it is. Okay, and let's make it let's make it black is fine for color. Let's make it a pen 3, which is fairly heavy, and let's see if there's a double dash or something here. Double dot, double dash 3/8. Looks good. Hit apply, hit OK. Now I can take this line and say you are a truss web line. Click out. Okay. Now can I use my match type this to this? Okay. So those are now my new truss web line type. So you can do that. You can draw a line anytime you want. You can zoom into anywhere inside of a 2D view, go to annotate, draw a detail line, use a rectangle or whatever you want. Wouldn't matter what you did. You can go in here and draw stuff in 2D, and it's it'll only show up in this view, etc. Click on here, delete, whatever fan or a hood or something. Like if you don't have time to model it all in 3D, you can go in and draw stuff in 2D. Crossing box and delete. So those are just regular detail lines. Okay, so you can create new detail lines and add detail lines in, and you can also use the invisible line work we said. In modify, you can go in here and say line work and say invisible. Invisible makes it disappear. Oh, you can't make detail lines invisible. It's for model lines. Invisible. Invisible, right? Sometimes there's more than one line there. You have to do it several times. And there's something in behind that's not going. But for the most part, you can make lines invisible. Okay. Go to this railing. For whatever reason, you don't want to see that line. Okay. If you want to make it come back, you say by category. And then off you go, bringing these guys back. Just like that. So by category brings them back. So feel free to use detail lines. You can do it in a section. You can do it in a plan. You can do it in a callout. Off the Annotate tab. Okay, detail lines. Chain means end to end. You can offset as you draw. Okay, if you draw and you set an offset, the line will be offset from where you go. If you do radius, it'll round all the corners. You can set that inside of there. You can also draw lines based on other objects. You can go into here and say, wide lines, and then you can use the pick option and you can just, pick something and it'll put it in there. Okay, I can see with our object styles here that our line weights are a bit too heavy for a couple things. These detail components, the line weight's too heavy at this scale. The ceiling and the blocking. Okay, and we're going to fix that in our next lesson. So we've got a little bit of a line weight issue. Everyone's going to have it. And the thing is, I like the scale. This is a good scale, but I want to make this a little less blotchy. Okay, my walls aren't too bad. It's the I believe it's probably the floor, the detail items, the ceiling, and the blocking. So we will have a look at that in our next lesson.